Before Boya reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in reviewing their latest product, the Boyamagic mic, I had absolutely no idea of its existence. I also didn't know that it would grow to become a microphone system that I would actually like more than I thought. This highly portable and transformable microphone system became something that I definitely saw myself using in the future just because of how darn convenient and feature packed it actually is. So, with that being said, let's take a look at what this microphone system can offer you. Let's start by taking a look at what you get with this package, which the first thing you will see is this carrying case, which looks to be made of some dust and potentially water resistant plastic material. From left to right, as you can see here on my table, you get two windscreens that specifically fit the transmitters, a USB Type A to C cable, a USB Type C to C cable, a bigger fur windshield that your dog or cat might think is a chew toy if given the opportunity, a foam windscreen, a 3.5 millimeter TRS to TRS cable, two very light transmitters, three kinds of receivers, and the charging case that holds both of those transmitters I just mentioned. The charging case here is made out of a plastic but also has a good quality feel to it. The matte coating on the backside, coupled with the glossy see-through window here, make the case easy to hold, either when you're just holding it or holding it for an extended period of time while using the Magic Mic in one of its four form factors. On the front of the case, you have a power button that you can use to turn on one of the transmitters while it's inside the case to make it so that you can use it in the traditional handheld mic sense. On the back, you have all the regulatory writing engraved into the housing, a quarter-inch thread for mounting options, and your USB Type-C charging port with charging indicators right above that. On the top of the case, you have a speaker grill here that allows you to use the mic in a more traditional mic sense while the transmitter is inside of the case. Below the case, you have a hole here that allows you to insert either the USB Type-C or Lightning receiver. Both of these receivers are held in by magnets that aren't the weakest, but also not the strongest either. Talking about those receivers, again, you get three of them. One with a USB Type-C connector, one with a Lightning connector, and a more standard kind that has a built-in battery and connects to a 3.5 millimeter TRS audio cable. The Type-C and Lightning receivers are powered by the device you put them into. Like the transmitters and case, you get one button on both that controls power, pairing, and whether the mics are muted and whether you want noise canceling on or off. One thing to be aware of is that both of these transmitters do have a USB Type-C in port on the back, but these cannot be used to charge the case, but can act as a pass-through for charging the phone they're connected to, or I guess whatever device you actually have it connected to that can take power in. Be aware that the speed of this charging is not of the fast variety though, but it will keep your phone topped up or whatever device you're using it with topped up while recording if it's not going to be too power consuming. The larger receiver has two buttons, one for power, pairing, and mute functions, and one that increases the output gain by 6 decibels each time you double press it, up to 18 decibels in total. On the other side of the transmitter, you have your USB Type-C charging port for charging the internal battery and your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. You also have a clip right here that doubles as a cold shoe mount and allows you to clip the receiver right onto a shirt or something like that. The transmitters have a simple design with one button on the front. On the back side, you have some charging contacts, a built-in clip, and a magnet that allows you to do something like place the mic anywhere you want to on your shirt. As far as features go, in my opinion, I think you do get a lot here for what you pay for. First of all, the biggest claim to fame here is that this is a microphone system you can use in pretty much any situation with its transformable design. We'll go more in depth with these designs a little bit later though. Other features include real-time AI noise canceling via a built-in neural network chip that's been trained on over 700,000 audio samples. You also get studio quality audio that records at 48 kilohertz with 24-bit resolution, a smart limiter feature to protect from sudden audio peaks, as well as a safety track feature that records an audio track at a lower volume, different equalizer presets, and even a custom EQ to play around with. You also get a 328 feet working distance and a battery life of up to 6 hours per transmitter and 30 hours total with the charging case. Like I said, you get quite a bit here for what you're actually paying for. Now, like I said before, the main thing, of course, here is the ability to be able to use this mic system in pretty much any situation you can use a mic in. The Magic Mic does this by offering 4 different forms to choose from. The first form would be your standard wireless clip-on mic, no further explanation needed there. The next form factor you have here is where you can hold this whole setup with the transmitters right inside of the case as more of a traditional mic of sorts. The third form is the desktop mode, which allows you to mount the mic using the 1/4 inch screw hole on the back and using something like a tripod to hold it up. The last form is an on-camera mode where you can mount the mic and its receiver to a tripod head again, like I mentioned with the desktop mode. Boya actually does sell a tripod mount like the one I have here, and this one is actually pretty convenient and really, really good quality. Altogether, this does make a microphone system that you can truly use in mostly any situation. Another thing I do like about this system and setup is the fact that you do get a companion app to work with. In this app, you can do things like monitor your audio, set how much output gain you want, control whether you actually want noise canceling on or off, like you can do from the transmitters and the case. But also, in addition to turning the noise canceling on or off, you can also choose the level of noise canceling you'd like between 2 modes. You can also set your recording between mono and stereo, turn on the safety track feature, mute your transmitter, choose your EQ settings or even customize one, configure some other options for your transmitters. So again, the app just goes ahead and adds a lot of depth to this kind of unassumingly affordable package in a way. So now that we've gone over almost everything this mic has to offer, I'm willing to bet that the one question on your mind is how does it sound? Well, you tell me. I've actually been using it to record audio for this video the whole time. I've had the strong noise canceling setting on and made sure to sit in a place where there would be lots of noise coming from all different directions. While I was recording, there were multiple sounds around, like a lawnmower, a fan, a car engine that sounds like it's on its way out, and other random sounds, so you should have a pretty good idea of what to expect. Now, of course, I wouldn't leave y'all hanging and have these be the only sound or audio examples, rather. So let's go ahead and move on to some other real world examples to see how this whole setup would perform in situations with some random ambient noise around. All right, so here I am just taking a walk through the woods here. Nothing really too special, but not too much noise around. There is the sound of my footsteps and maybe some birds and other stuff, but ultimately not too loud. Not anything here that's going to be ridiculously loud. So you should be hearing everything around me right now. And let's go ahead and turn on the weak setting for the noise canceling right now by pushing the button on the mic, which is clipped to my shirt. All right, so there we go. The weak noise canceling setting is on. So some noise should definitely be being canceled out. Anything you heard before, you probably shouldn't be hearing now. Only thing you should be hearing pretty much is my voice, or ideally, that's what you should be hearing.
So this is the weak noise canceling setting. Yeah, that's it. Now let's move on to the strong noise canceling setting. Okay, so now I have no noise canceling on yet again. And what I am going to do here is the same thing I did last time. Now there is a plane flying right above me that's pretty loud, in addition to every single thing you heard before. So let me go ahead and turn on the strong noise canceling setting before that plane goes away. All right, so now the strong noise canceling setting is on, and that plane, even though it's farther, I can still hear it. You should not be able to hear it. You should just be able to hear my voice yet again. So hopefully the noise canceling is doing its job and canceling the noise, because that plane is still right over me. Like I said, I can hear it. You should not be able to. And that is the strong noise canceling setting. So next up, I'm going to do the same exact thing, but I'm going to move on to sort of a more extreme example of both of the things I just did. Okay, so now this is going to be more of a semi-extreme test. Not really extreme, but much louder than the last test that I did. So as you can see here, we have this little waterfall running, and this is pretty loud. I looked it up, and waterfalls can be anywhere from 50 to 90 decibels pretty much. So the idea here is to put the noise canceling to its test in a consistently loud situation. So right now I don't have any noise canceling on whatsoever. And what I'm going to do right now is just go ahead and switch it on by pressing the button on the mic that is clipped to me. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so now I've seen the receiver turn green, letting me know that noise canceling is on. And I have it set to the weak setting right now. So there's quite a bit of other noise around here in addition to the waterfall here. There's a plane right above me and everything. So hopefully the noise canceling is doing something here. I don't know if it is, but if it's not, this should give you an idea of the limits of the noise cancellation. You know, like I said, it's negative 15 with weak setting. So yeah, this is how it should sound. And also just remember, like I said, waterfalls can be anywhere from 50 to 90 decibels according to Google. That could be wrong too, but anyway. So let's move on to the strong noise canceling test. All right, so here we are at the same exact waterfall. There's a plane above me, so you should be hearing that too. But again, I'm about to go ahead and enable the strong noise canceling setting, and that should be negative 40 decibels of noise that it would be canceling out. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead here and press the button. Now the receiver has turned green, and it should have the strong noise canceling setting on. So again, I don't know what you all are hearing. I'm trying to do this in a raw format, not raw as in like photography, but just kind of, you know, no planning, no nothing, with something much louder than what I was used to before or used to being in front of. So hopefully the strong noise canceling setting is working here. And I know I'm talking a lot. I'm trying to do that so you get an idea of how it works. So how does it sound? Tell me in the comments. I'm not even going to listen to this most likely before I put it in the video.
All right, so hopefully those extra audio samples have given you a broader idea of what to expect in terms of sound quality with this microphone in different varying noise level situations. I know I didn't say that right. Having gone through everything I've said before this, I'd like to finish off this video with my final thoughts. The Boyamagic mic, in my opinion, is a wireless microphone system that comes with a moderately large amount of features for a more than acceptable price. The four main aspects of this microphone system that make it worthwhile for me is the portability, the noise canceling, the transformable design, and the price. In terms of portability, This system is highly portable, with you just being able to slip the charging case with the microphones directly into your pocket without it taking up too much space horizontally. I actually often found myself slipping the mic and even my phone without much concern for how much space both would take up in my pocket. The only thing I do wish is that the magnets were strong enough to hold both the Type C and Lightning receivers in place more firmly. The noise canceling, as you've been hearing, is good enough to be used in situations where there isn't an overly loud amount of noise. There were some weird drops in audio during the creation of this video, but for most of it, I was able to sit in the living room with all sorts of sounds and record comfortably without the need to lock myself in a more secluded room and hope that there wasn't a sound loud enough to go over the mentioned noise canceling capacity. The transformable design is something I never knew I wanted, but I am glad it is the main feature. When choosing some sort of either compact wireless microphone system or traditional mic, most of the times the form factors you'll get is either one of the clip on variety or the handheld variety. Well, you'll only get a handheld mic if you go for a traditional one, I suppose. This means you end up having to DIY some sort of solution to transform these kinds of mic systems into one or the other, but the Magic Mic system allows you to do that natively. I will say that since this transformable design is emphasized so heavily, I do think it would have been cool if the tripod was included, but this is not too much of a big deal since it only costs $20 at the time of this video, and without the sale, it only goes up by $5. The last thing is that even though Boya did send me this system for free, what really sold it for me, pun intended, pun very intended, is the price. At $90 for the base package, I think that this is a more than reasonable price, especially when these compact microphone systems usually can be either kind of really cheap but lacking in some crucial areas, or really expensive. $90, at least in my opinion, seems like a bargain, and I think this will be a good entry price for people who want to get into the compact mic system. Now, of course, this is not the perfect microphone system just like any other, and that's not what I'm trying to pin it as. There are some issues that stood out for me, and they are as follows. The first one is the fact that the app, at least on Android, continues to ask for permission each time you connect any of the receivers. I'm not sure if this will be a thing on iOS, but either way, this is something that can be fixed in an update most likely, and I do hope it does get fixed. The second thing is that you actually need a network connection in order to use the app, which is kind of weird in my opinion. Here's hoping that they will update the app to make that sort of not a thing. And yes, this mic does work fine without the application. It's just that you can't really fine tune things. The last thing that was slightly annoying is the fact that you have to pair and reconnect each microphone with each receiver. This is something that's not too big of an issue once you learn how the pairing process works, but it does mean that if you frequently change between the kind of device you're using, you'll have to pair it with that device again based on the receiver you use. I guess one way to kind of circumvent this is to just pair one transmitter with one kind of receiver and leave it that way, unless you actually need to use both of them to do something like a back and forth conversation. All right, y'all. So that is all I have for you on the Boyamagic mic. Now, I do hope that I was able to give you some useful information and answer some questions you had, and even questions you didn't know you even had. Now, if you are interested in purchasing this mic and enjoy saving money, because who doesn't, you can check the description below for a discount code that'll give you a discount. That's what discount codes do. Anyway, if you have any other questions or constructive comments, please leave those below. And wherever you are in the world, have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, or a good night. And thank you for watching as always.